Hi, this is Basil Green speaking. I'm your speaker for the Bread Basket Show. And this is a continuation of the last episode that I recorded. It's on how to determine the value of a woman. Now, I ended up speaking about the fact that I do not go to church. Not that I hate church. Neither have I abandoned the Lord. I visited quite a few churches. And I decided, no, until God really speaks to me, I will relax for a while. Even though I've been to conferences and other church events since I've made that decision. But many don't understand what's going on because it's not the norm, and some will even feel that I do not deserve certain things, like God shouldn't use me because I don't go to church. Maybe I mustn't be allowed to minister to people, or I shouldn't pray for people, I shouldn't do the work of God. Some might feel I'm not ready to receive certain things because I do not attend church on a regular basis, or I do not belong to a specific church. But as I said, it's their battle between them and God. I will just walk with the Lord and be who God has called me to be. But that is not the basis of this topic. I'm just going on and reminding you of what I spoke about, just in case you missed the last podcast. But if you want to get the full episode, you can go and listen to it. I also spoke about why I decided to talk about this podcast, mainly about a song and other things that I had been pondering on concerning how we value women as men and how women value themselves. So it's not only for men, it's also for the woman. There's a song that basically sends an idea that, or the message that if you sleep with a man, you will get money. That's the chorus. Sleep with a man, get money. But they don't say it the way I am saying it. And there's other things that I also had concerning this episode. The other is got to do with the lobola thing, where when you go in the African tradition, you go and if you want a wife and you go to the family, sit down, you'll have negotiations, and they will tell you, okay, we want 10 cows I spoke about. And I've never experienced this. I've never sat in one of these negotiations. They will tell you that, well, the guys have said it, people that I know, people that have been in these negotiations, they'll say, hey, you know what, my daughter did her degree, or she's a virgin, or she can cook, or they'll name all the good things that the woman comes with, and then they'll determine, okay, this is how many cows we want. And there's also the social status that the woman comes with. If she's born from a royal family. Now, in the African tradition, I stand to be corrected about this. You have the king and the chiefs, and I don't know what else is also associated with that. There's a specific bride price you call it, or a lobola you call it, that comes with that. And it's been said that royalty can marry with royalty, and the amount of cows you pay for a person that's born from a royal family is different for another person that's born out of a royal family. So, and then there's an article that I read where the celebrity was complaining that she allowed this guy to sleep with her for so many times for free. She was giving him free sex. All of these things I look at and I think, hey, how much value do you place on yourself? And then how much value would a man place in you if you're going to be doing stuff like that? Because you're only going to be viewed as somebody like that. Now, I'm not saying that men treat women bad because of that, but some men are just bad. Some of us are inherently bad. We haven't learned how to treat the opposite sex. And that goes for women also. So no one is innocent in this situation, although we have more stories of men treating women badly. And I also shared about the fact that this guy, people say that lobola is in the Bible, but I say slavery is also in the Bible. But it has been made illegal for hundreds of years now. Africans have been selling themselves. I never mentioned that in the last podcast. Europeans came, they bought Africans from other Africans. In the Arab slave trade, it was also probably the same. And in both cases, we have people who inherited European and Arabic surnames and names. Some were forced to take these names. Some were forced to receive the religion. And then there are others who converted willfully because they saw something in the religions and in the culture. They took on the names. They changed their names. They used the surnames of these European and Arabic people. And some were born from people from these different nations or nationalities, or you can call them. Now, I believe a woman should be respected or loved as the word of God speaks. Paul says, men, love your wives just as Christ loved the church. And we find that Christ gave his life for the church. So we must follow his lead as the church and give our lives for him. And I believe it's the same with a man and woman. Now, I know there are relationships that are out of marriage. However, I'm going to speak based on a relationship that leads into marriage and a marriage. And some will say, hey, you single, how can you speak about relationships and marriages? But I'm speaking based on my revelation of Christ. My revelation of Christ gives me an understanding on how marriage should be run, even though I've not put it into practice. I've put my faith into practice. And I also humble myself. So don't get me wrong, I'm not an expert in marriages. I still need to get married. But the understanding is this. Christ loved the church so much that he gave himself. He said, I am going to give myself so that the church, the believers, do not suffer the way the devil wants them to suffer. He doesn't want to keep them in bondage. He wants to make them free. And we understand that all people are born free now. Now we understand that in a marriage, a woman is free. We do not own the woman. Now, don't think that I am diminishing the culture of lobola, or am I diminishing women in any way that believe they should sleep with a man to get money, or that sex should be paid for. This is my belief system, and I am not going to force it on anybody. And I'm not going to change it to suit another person. As I said, all men are born free. We have a free will to decide what we allow in our lives. So a woman's value is based on her worth as a human being. And that worth is determined by her creator. And Jesus made us understand the value of one life. He was willing to give up his life in order to save another life. But because he was God, he was able to raise himself from the dead. So he understood that life was so important. You know, we say these things when we really love something. We say it's to die for. And God believes that you are to die for. So us men, we are supposed to protect women in such a way that we must be willing to die for this woman. Literally give our lives for them in order to protect them. And Adam, I believe, gave us an example, even though it is a bad example. It caused trouble, but he must have seen that when God said, if you eat this fruit, you shall surely die. He saw, hey, my woman ate this fruit. She's dying. Hey, I'm going to die with her. I'm not going to be by myself. He may have understood that, hey, I've loved this woman so much that I am willing to die for her. I must experience the same thing that she is experiencing. I must feel her pain. This is love. Romeo and Juliet is a bad example because they committed suicide. But the word of God says love is like that. Because Christ died for us. That's how much he loved us. He gave himself for us. He said, I'm going to die for these people. I'm going to die in their place. I'm going to die in their place. I'm going to go through what they are supposed to go through. I'll be that person. I will take all the hits for them. He was lashed 39 times. But you understand the value now of a woman? A woman is very valuable. But we cannot put a rand value on a woman because that will be diminishing her. And woman, you don't put a rand value on yourself because you're diminishing yourself. You're worth more than that. This is Basil Green speaking. Goodbye.